I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize. What we came across on YouTube that day was obviously unplanned. The reactions you saw in the video were raw, they were unfiltered. I didn't know how to react or feel. I should have never posted the video. I should have turned off the microphone and stopped recording what I was going. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I truly am a woke zoomer. Just fucking kidding, guys. This video is actual dog shit, and I stand by damn near everything I said in that video.
What's up, everyone? Another day, another slay, and I hope yours is going okay, because I finally got a response video. Yes, after 2 years, I have finally gotten noticed enough to be able to have a response video made on me. I mean, technically, this isn't my first response video to me if you count ErockX's video all the way back from 2021 or all of the other times I've been slightly mentioned in PlayStation fanboy videos, but ErockX's video was deleted by himself. And I've only been a side meal of a main course in any of the PlayStation fanboys' responses, because Fritter Alex is always taking the spotlight. However, today, I'm finally the main focus of the video. God, this is such an ego boost. Anyways, this video was a response to my Hogwarts Legacy video from a couple weeks ago, which, like, barely got any views, but you know what? That's okay, to each their own, I guess. Which, by the way, I got Hogwarts Legacy.
You're an irredeemable monster! What took you so long, idiot?
It's alright. It feels like every other Ubisoft open world game with a Harry Potter skin on it, which would be cool if I was into Harry Potter, but I haven't even finished watching the movies yet. I've read like the first book and that was it. Why of all the games, this game has had the biggest controversy surrounding it in the last few years since like Last of Us 2 is beyond me. I mean, again, it's literally so fucking mid. I genuinely cannot find anything to overly hate or overly like in this game. But what's funny is that it isn't even a response to the main point of that video that I made, which was just me picking apart that dumbass SJW's arguments of Hogwarts Legacy not being allowed to be judged fairly. To be fair, I don't really know anybody stupid enough to debate that, so thank God for that at least. But the main argument of mine this person's breaking down is what I say in the first 2 minutes of that video, that JK Rowling is not a good person and doesn't deserve your money. I know, such a stunning and brave take for me to have, so much so that I would have to be an SJW myself for saying something as absolutely heinous as that. God forbid I say a multi-billionaire isn't a good person and doesn't need more money. Oh no! So yeah, the video is made by Vincent and it's called Gamers React to the question, is JK Rowling a transphobe? Which honestly, the more I look at that situation surrounding her, the more I do actually think a lot of what she says is left up to interpretation, and how honestly gray everything in this situation surrounding her is. But I mean, her whole essay of her being called a TERF was cited by someone while blocking Senate consideration to the equality that would add gender identity and sexual orientation to the list of protected classes when it comes to employment, housing, public accommodations, jury service, and a bunch of other stuff. Basically, putting it into dumbass terms, someone who voted against a bill protecting LGBT people from discrimination quoted JK Rowling's essay when they voted against it as their evidence. Now, to be fair, that had nothing to do with JK Rowling. I mean, she didn't say she was against equality for LGBT people. However, her silence speaks volumes. Just the fact that she didn't at least like put out a tweet or something saying, hey, I don't condone what this guy did while quoting my essay would be enough to tell us, okay, at least she gives a shit. But nope, she said absolutely nothing. You look it up on Google, JK Rowling response to Equality Act, absolutely nothing. Now, does that make her directly transphobic or homophobic or whatever the fuck? No, but it sure as hell makes her ignorant as to why I said in the video, she is not a good person. Keep that in mind. I said she is not a good person. I didn't say she was a bad person. I didn't say she was a transphobe. Those are completely different things. Now, why I'm the one being commentated over any of the other SJWs saying way more egregious stuff about Rowling is besides the point. I mean, again, I appreciate the ego boost, but yeah. Now, I'll be 100% fair here. That Hogwarts Legacy video I made was not perfect. I really don't think any of my videos are, and a few of this person's points are actually pretty fair, which I'll get into in a bit. But overall, this dude just throws so many stupid ass accusations at me that genuinely give me secondhand embarrassment. So enough talking and let's see what YouTube has shout out today.
Recently, with all the YouTube videos popping up about Hogwarts Legacy, it got me thinking about the question, is JK Rowling really a transphobe?
Nope, not answering it, not gonna say it, you can't make me. As my kindergarten teacher told me, you are not the boss of me. Nuh-uh. Also, why the fuck does this guy have the voice of one of those fucking 3 a.m. challenge YouTubers? Like, listen to this shit.
Wanna join my free gift cards giveaway?
Up about Hogwarts Legacy, it got me thinking.
Am I the only one hearing this shit? Like I know I sound like every other commentator ever, but at least I don't sound like I'm trying to sell you on my gift card giveaway. Holy shit. But yeah, no, I'm not answering what I think about that shit anymore. I mean, I almost said it in the last Hogwarts Legacy video, and that got me my very own response video. God only knows what would happen if I actually said what I thought about it.
Yeah, crazy question to ask, but did some research into it. I'm not sure if it was worth making a video on, but just when I thought I might drop it, I came across this video here.
If you don't want to buy the game, cool. Whoa, what'd you do to my voice? Why is the pitch high? I sound like I'm 2 years younger, bro. Just use one of the video downloader sites. It takes like 2 minutes at most. This is more offensive to me than any insult anyone can say to me. What the hell, man? If you do want to buy the game, also cool. If you want to get mad at the people who want to buy the game simply for buying it, you're embarrassing yourself. And if you want to buy 10 copies of the game just to dunk on those trans people, you also are embarrassing yourself. Shouldn't be that hard of a concept to understand. J.K. Rowling is not a good person and not worth your support whatsoever, but forcing people to boycott the game is not going to put a dent in her wallet.
Now, I could be reading this wrong, and I'm not.
What the hell is there to read here? I specifically stated she is not a good person, but somehow he does end up reading that shit wrong. So just wait.
I feel a moral imperative to oppose Hogwarts Legacy.
And that is 100% fine to do. If you don't think the game is worth supporting because it harms the trans community so much, I completely get that. However, mind your own shit. I don't want to hear a whole moral argument of why I can't support Hogwarts Legacy and how buying the game is going to cause a transphobe to become rich. Because honestly, I don't care. I just don't. I don't know how else to put it. It's not my problem. And I know that's selfish, but I don't know. I don't see these motherfuckers coming out to help me with every tiny little L I take. So why should I do that for them? Maybe that makes me a bad person. Maybe it doesn't. Honestly, I don't care.
I mean, he's not even sure if this makes him a good person or bad person.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't really think buying a fucking game is important enough to make you a good person or a bad person, and that last part was mostly just me saying I don't give a shit what people have to say about me buying the game, but go off.
Yeah, he throws the label of bad on that woman who shall not be named.
Bro, what? Where the fuck did I say she was a bad person? I said she wasn't a good person, which, I mean, I don't think that's a stretch. Again, with the point at the beginning, her silence when someone used her work against a bill that was for LGBTQ equality speaks volumes. Now, is she transphobic? That's where a lot of the grayness comes in, because what she said, done, and not done, a lot of the things can be deemed as transphobic depending on who you ask. And for that reason, I'm not even going to answer the question, because I mean, again, I said it earlier, got a whole ass video, I'm not going to say that shit.
Oh, that's fine. Everyone has their opinion. Curious about other people's thought on this subject matter. If going with the initial premise, J.K. Rowling is a transphobe without really checking for it or checking your bias is a good idea. I linked the video in Mischief's Discord server, who did a similar video about Hogwarts Legacy. That seemed to have been a mistake to ask the question, is J.K. Rowling a transphobe? Both the server and the place I post in Discord, but that's neither here nor there. Because a couple minutes of chatting with him, I got timed out and the whole conversation was purged from the server.
I'm sorry, maybe it's just all the weed that's been in my system from the last couple of months, but I seriously cannot understand this motherfucker for the life of me. So from my understanding, he started talking about my video in Mischief's server, and eventually that got him timed out and banned or something like that. But it doesn't even say what it is he said in the server that got him timed out. So I DM'd Mischief about what he said in his server that got him timed out, and apparently he was begging Mischief to do a video on my Hogwarts Legacy video based off of the 2 lines he brought up of me saying J.K. Rowling is not a good person, and went on a whole rant about how I called J.K. Rowling transphobic, which I didn't. The only times I did were when I was quoting people. And then he was trying to explain how being a TERF isn't transphobic, which, oh god, I'm not even gonna answer why that's dumb right now, because he actually brings that up later on in the video, so let's just continue for now.
It really seems like a lot of these younger generations of gaming commentators just takes all this crap that's spouted about people online as fact. And
name one time when either myself or Mischief have done that. Like, What? I mean, I'll be fair. I didn't really mention all the things J.K. Rowling said, did, or didn't do that could be deemed as transphobic, but really, this shit is so well known at this point that there is no way I can change your mind on either side of the field. And also what she said has just been shown so many times at this point that showing it in a video would have just been redundant, so I didn't want to waste people's time and I just didn't show it. But if you want hard evidence of what J.K. Rowling has done that makes people think about her the way they do, I'd recommend you watch like the first 15 minutes of James Somerton's video on Hogwarts Legacy. He's a really good content creator that I think makes some really interesting content surrounding LGBTQ issues. But yeah, go watch it. You might get pissed at me for recommending it because he kind of says some shit towards the end, but whatever. I really just don't care.
Everyone who sympathize and possibly are TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists, are automatically transphobes, such as J.K. Rowling and Dave Chappelle.
So last night while I was doing all the research for this video, I went through all the shit J.K. Rowling has said that makes her a TERF, which there's definitely a lot you can find that makes her line up with the values of a TERF. However, I really can't find anything that specifically said she was a TERF, so there's always going to be people arguing that she isn't one. However, Dave Chappelle, he's admitted to being a TERF, so I don't think it's a stretch to say that he is. And then we're back to where he tries to say that being a TERF doesn't equal transphobe, which, I'm sorry, genuinely, what the fuck are you on? A TERF is trans exclusionary radical feminist, basically saying I support women's rights and will fight for them, however not for trans people. The fucking Google definition of TERF says a person whose views on gender identity are considered hostile towards trans people. Like unfriendly, antagonistic. How the fuck do you get the thought, oh, well, maybe they're not transphobic? The fuck? That's like saying someone who says, oh, I'm against racism, except for the racism towards white people isn't racist. That's like saying someone who says, I support the LGBTQ community, except the bisexuals isn't biphobic. It has the word exclusionary in the fucking acronym, dude. These are some actual I have black friends level arguments right here.
And for certain people, obviously, such as Mischief, anyone curious about asking people about digging into the actual facts of the matter for yourself, because I really don't believe it's such a simple matter, are idiots.
Yeah, where did Mischief say people who dig into details are idiots? I mean, I know you said he purged all those messages from your conversation with him in Discord, but I mean, it kind of sounds like you're just putting words into his mouth. You could have at least said like a quote from him saying this or something. Fuck, you're making me defend a British person. What the hell?
Death of critical thinking is upon us, or people just don't care enough to dig deeply into things that are self-evident, I guess. That's fine. To each his own.
What we mean by self-evident is that this shit has been spread around so much that it would be impossible to go into the situation with the semblance of knowledge without knowing what people are talking about.
Your Discord, your rules, and like Kim, I could be assuming, maybe he talked about this in another video or with friends, I don't know. Mischief doesn't seem to care about getting into the finer details of discussing such issues like, is J.K. Rowling even a transphobe?
Because what she said varies so much on who you ask since how vanilla it is that there's pretty much no point in even discussing it, because you're not going to change any opinions on it. It's the same thing as fucking politics in general. Political debates are the biggest waste of time ever because everybody is going to have a different opinion, and then people are just going to get heated and it's just a giant ass mess.
Even when he has videos covering the topic about the boycott of the game because of her said transphobia, but I do understand addressing that hot potato would probably be tough for both Kim and Mischief. Still,
evidently it's tough for you too since you keep putting fucking words in our mouths.
They just run with this fact that the game series, based on her popular book series, but has little involvement with the woman herself, is more the issue that they're centered around, and I get it. It is easier just to go with the crowd, the accepted narrative within your in-group, and just assume it's true and defend the game on its own merit. But frankly, I find that just a little bit odd.
Yeah, we do that because we want to stay out of political shit on our YouTube channels. We're gaming channels that talk shit about other people for fun. We don't want to get into super deep and heavily controversial topics because it's just not fun. That's why I'm not mentioning whether I think J.K. Rowling is a transphobe or not, because no matter what I say, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off from it. And then he just plays some clips of other YouTubers' videos just bringing up J.K. Rowling's tweets that people got pissed at and basically breaking them down of how they believe J.K. Rowling to be from them. However, not one mentions the main thing that gets me to think she's not a good person, which is her silence when her essay was quoted. Also, another thing I found was this picture of her wearing a shirt calling a trans activist politician a destroyer of women's rights. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. And in fairness to Rowling though, I didn't dig too deep into that situation, so maybe there's something else that she did that caused her to be called a destroyer of women's rights, but from how it looks at first glance, it doesn't seem to be the case.
Since people are jumping into Hogwart Legacy, I think this should be something that should come up in the conversation, but apparently other gaming commentators don't agree.
Hogwarts Legacy does not deserve to be reviewed on its own merits, and as you can tell by that title, this is going to be a very entertaining article, because someone involved, involved isn't even a good way to describe it, because saying involved is to imply they had something to do with the actual making of the game. No, surrounding is a better word. If someone surrounding the game, I guess, isn't a good person, this game should not be reviewed fairly.
Yes, J.K. Rowling has not actually said anything or done anything too out there, but one thing the trans community cannot forgive her for: a clear sign of her turfdom and therefore her transphobia.
I mean, I don't really think what she did was unforgivable. Granted, I'm not trans, but I mean, if she just finally addressed how a fucking politician used her essay to block LGBTQ equality and how she doesn't condone that shit or what he did and is in favor of the Equality Act, I'd go, okay, weird it took you so fucking long to acknowledge that, but better late than never, I guess. And then he puts out more clips that have literally nothing to do with what I've said, so I'm just skipping it.
There's some parts of Kim's video that just seems to be disassociated and come off as rather naive, and I'm not even sure how to address them.
With the Harry Potter IP, Rowling has made it very clear that a trans girl would find no validation in her world, no love or support. The more I played Hogwarts Legacy, and the longer I spent in the classrooms and grounds of Hogwarts, the sadder I felt at how tainted the franchise has become. The sanctuary is gone. It no longer exists for us.
You know what? That was actually a really good idea. I don't know, the last part of this article is actually kind of solid, and I can see the makings of an actually talented writer. Like, if this whole article was about how horrible of a person J.K. Rowling is for taking that sanctuary away from the LGBT community, it would be fucking great. Just elaborating on that point, because he doesn't even fucking respond to it, like, he just weirdly cuts to the next clip without saying shit, but yeah. When J.K. Rowling remained silent when her essay was quoted, that made a lot of trans people feel unwelcomed by her, which is fair enough. Therefore, their sanctuary in the Harry Potter world being gone. How is this shit hard for you to understand? Like, I genuinely got chills my first time reading through that first paragraph right there. Yeah, well, the people who want to support this game are going to support it, and the people who don't want to support it aren't going to. It's that simple. Don't try to make people look like bad people. Plain. Bro, why'd you just cut it like that? Did you just accidentally leave it in or something? What the fuck happened? Why her take is bad? Because it's very clear she doesn't understand the perspective of a trans person, and to show her how she's wrong.
I don't know how he's getting this information from. He doesn't go into the details, but I doubt he's bothered with the actual leftists who made all these initial J.K. Rowling being a transphobe.
There's always going to be crazy far left people like this.
Mostly guilty by association and very deep reading into her little essay, such as John, ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube, you know, all those red tubers. But even if I am wrong here, and Kim has looked into this, all the literature and all the videos on the subject and formed his own opinion, which he is propagating on his YouTube videos, I'm still not a fan of the methods most of these leftists or bread tubers use to prove their conclusions in their videos and video essays, much like how I'm not a fan of how Kim just accepts the perceived belief that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe.
Holy shit, this is just him reading into what I was saying way too much and filling in my blanks when there are literally no blanks to be filled. No, I don't just accept the accusation that random people are transphobes. That's stupid. I just genuinely don't feel like talking about it, so that's why I've been kind of dancing around the topic.
I think it's a lot more complex with that. Turf adjacent. Turf is fair enough, but transphobe? That's a step a little bit too far in my opinion.
The fuck? Turf and transphobe are like the same thing. What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ, this is bad. Anyways, the last 2 minutes are just him discussing J.K. Rowling as a person, basically repeating the same shit we've been talking about for like the last 25 minutes, so I'm cutting it.